Hi, this is Bobby with your Travel Gurus. If you're ever thinking about visiting France, but you're worried about traveling that far and you're not going to like it, there's a great way to test it out without leaving North America. I'm talking about Quebec Canada, where they speak French, all the signs are in French, all the food is in French, but you're still in North America. It's a great way to test out the feeling of France and get some great food and some great architecture and history. Let's go check out Quebec, Canada. The architecture and the food in this city is just like being in France. It's the only place where you're going to find this much amazing bakery foods and churches and beautiful hikes and just history outside of Europe. Don't get me starting on the amazing wineries and food out here. So where is Quebec, Canada? Well, let's take a look at a map. Here you can see the United States. We're going to head to the East Coast and start traveling north. Once you get into the Northeast, you'll see Montreal, Ottawa, and then we're going to move in to the east of Montreal and a little bit north. You're going to see where the bay comes in, right into Quebec City. Quebec City sits right on the St. Lawrence River. You could take ferries across from Lévis and visit the other side of the river anytime you want. But let's talk about Quebec City first. There's a lower area and an upper area. In the upper area, you're going to find one of the most famous and most photographed hotels in the entire world. And that is this one, the Fairmont Chateau Frontenac. The man behind this was architect Bruce Price. They started building it in May of 1892. It only took them about a year and a half to build it, and they finished it in December of 1893. It was one of the first of Canada's grand railway hotels. In fact, the developer was the Canadian Pacific Railway. In the late 1800s, when the Chateau opened, it was the place to be. This is where everybody came if anybody was anybody. As a matter of fact, here's a menu from 1898 from the Artillery Company of Massachusetts, celebrating 261 years. The Chateau is also a great place for afternoon tea. Please join us as we have tea at the Chateau. As we head back outside, we're going to find the promenade and boardwalk. This staircase on the boardwalk leads to the archaeological site and remains of the original French governor's house, Chateau St. Louis. You can purchase tickets to visit this site at the little hut behind the statue. You can also purchase a guided tour and have someone else show you around and give you all the information of the history of the original chateau. Or you could just walk it yourself. Once you've purchased your ticket, you can head back over to that original staircase. Along the way, you'll see some of these plexiglass holes. If you look down into some of these holes, you can see some of the remains without ever buying a ticket if you want to do it the cheap way. Along the boardwalk, they also have information about the original chateau and where it's set, how long it was here, and other things about it that you'll find very interesting. Walking it yourself is very easy though. There's plenty of information, plaques, and TVs to give you information about the original governor's house and the archaeological site. Feel free to just walk it at your own pace and see some of the amazing stuff that's originally here, including some old coins that were found during the dig-up. back up top, we'll find the monument to Samuel de Champlain. This is always a great meeting point for people who may be splitting up. Also, throughout the day, there are different street performers and buskers that play right in front of the statue. Now let's wander around the city a bit. You don't always have to go to the most fancy and biggest church in a city to find the neatest things. Sometimes you can go off the beaten path and find one of the smaller churches. Walk inside and just find one of the most interesting parts of your trip. Here, take a listen. Okay, I'm getting hungry. Let's talk about food. There's plenty of outdoor dining selections, especially down in the lower area of Quebec. And on the way down there, you can pass by what's called the Breakneck Stairs. It was built in the 1600s, and it's one of the biggest tourist sites. People love coming here just to say they took these stairs. The food options here are great, especially if you're looking for crepes and very fruitful crepes. You're going to find those in a lot of places. They also have some interesting soufflés and interesting meat dishes. Also popular down in the lower area is the Boulevard of Umbrellas. But you'll find a couple of pretty good restaurants down here too. In this spot, you're going to run into the main crossroads areas, the lower part of Quebec's old Quebec City. This is the steep stairs. Come up from right here if you're coming from the lower part. Right here, the Finicular. The Finicular is the easy way to get up and down from the lower and upper area of Quebec. It's only about $5 a person, and it saves you from walking up the steep steps and up a couple other uphill streets and then up some other steps just to get to the top. It's a lot of work to get up and down, and sometimes if you're just going down to eat or you're full, it brings you right up to the top, right behind the monument and right in front of the Chateau. From there you can enter into the city. By looking at this map, you can kind of see the area that we come up to. The Chateau's right here on the left of the map, and where the red dot is pretty close to where you come up on the Finicular. The monument, you can see it there just left of the circle. Then you can see the rest of the city that's walkable. Just to the southwest, you'll see that there's the original fort, which is something you really got to take the time to go see and pay to get in and walk around. It's a must-see. But if you take the walls from the fort and walk along them, you're going to find some interesting sights along the way, and it's going to take you to the Parliament Building. If you make your way back into town from the Parliament Building along Rue Saint-Louis, you will find one of the most interesting sights. Built in 1676 as a home and is now a restaurant since 1966, Aux Anciens Canadiens is a wonderful restaurant with a really interesting atmosphere. With the history of this actual building, it's really neat to come in here and have a meal. And plus, some of the stuff they have in here is very, very interesting. So now let's see what the area around Quebec has to offer. If you want to head to the south area of Quebec, you can always take the ferry over to Lévis and check the area out over there. But we found one of our most favorite drives. Heading north out of Quebec into the island next door, Ile d'Orleans had nothing but wonderful, wonderful wineries all along the route. It was a beautiful route, greenery on the right side and left side. We decided to stop at a local family winery, Cider Orchard. They had stuff set up outside to where you can picnic under the orchard. It was one of the most memorable stops of our entire trip. I can't forget about the little side of the road place, Chez Mag, where I got poutine and a lobster roll. Oh, it filled me up. Then we stopped at one more winery on the way back where we looked over the Lawrence River, had wine, and they even had some ice cream so we can hit the road with some ice cream. Something else that the area around Quebec is famous for are their waterfalls. We're going to check out two of them. First, we're heading to Shottiier Falls, which is just southwest of Quebec. You cross over the bridge and head past the interchange, and you get off the road to the right, and it's a nice little hike. And then a suspension bridge for a great view. After a nice short hike, you end up at a great lookout for great views of the falls. Moving away from the lookout and then crossing the suspension bridge, on the other side you're going to find an amazing playground. At least Jamie and Andy had fun. That's all that matters. Just south of the falls, we found a really cute little winery. Time to check out another set of waterfalls. We're heading northeast now to where the bridge crosses over to the island. We're going to go to Moridy Falls. This one has zip lines and a cable car and a great view. Whether you like the green, lush landscape of the countryside, or you like that old European feel of a city, Quebec's got all of it for you. The food, the architecture, the history. You can find it all here, and it's all in French. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bobby, and I'm one of your travel gurus. Please make sure to follow us on Facebook, and make sure to subscribe and like and hit that bell so you can follow us for any other videos coming up, because we have plenty coming.